We were playing together. First 2 games of that series were in San Antonio. We go up 2-0. Everybody's happy. I think me and Kawhi were playing decent defense on KD and James. You know, we were kind of holding them down. Shit just went south. We get to game 3. And Tony Parker basically stopped trusting us. He was making real late passes. And give James Harden credit. He just turned it up. He went crazy. You know, he went crazy in some games. And, you know, KD was solid. KD was the best player, you know, on the floor almost every night. But we took him to game 6. After they won 3 in a row, we in game 6. And you can listen to the announcers. Tony Parker had Steven Jackson wide open. Tony Parker missed Steven Jackson again. Like, it's so obvious during the course of the year you hear announcers say this. Like, I knew it. But people didn't want to address Tony looking me off.
So, I mean, what happened? You know what I mean? What was the disconnect with Tony?
Well, I just think he became real selfish. You know, Tim was slowing down. He felt like he had to do more.
Okay.
But that wasn't the case. Ginobili was still good. You had Kawhi coming into his own. I was still able to knock down shots. So I think he stopped trusting us.
That's big.
You know, I even remember after game 6, I'm sitting on the floor, me and Kawhi sitting side by side, and Tim came put his hand on both of us because he know we played our ass off. And they know that Tony was forcing shit. And I can show you on film. You know what I'm saying? It's right, it's documented. But I remember sitting in the locker room and Pop came in the locker room and put his hand on my shoulder when me and Kawhi was sitting right there. He was like, we did everything we could. We just didn't trust each other. He didn't want to say, Tony didn't trust us. You know what I'm saying? Right. But we all knew. When he said that, we all knew.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I could have had another championship. I could have had another championship, man. That year, we was 2 games away from making it to the finals, and we was going to win that shit.
So OKC eventually lost to Miami, right?
In the finals, yeah.
Okay. So following season, 2013, 55 games in the season right before.
Really not playing. He throwing me in there garbage minutes and, you know, throwing me in and out, you know. And what people don't know, Matt, and you know this, and they was doing this to Carmelo. I'm not saying I'm on Carmelo level, but scorers and guys that play off rhythm and stuff, you can't throw them in 4 minutes in the third quarter and expect them to do an instant spark. You can't throw them in 2 minutes in the fourth quarter and expect them to throw an instant spark, like always be ready and expect them to come out and play well. That's the situations they throw you in to make you look like you can't play. This is what they did Melo and got him out the way. So Pop was doing that to me the whole season. You know, he'll throw me in there, you know, I never know when I'm going to play, you know, and it was different from the year before. You know, I just came out playing well in the finals, in the Western Conference Finals. So he was doing that all year, and I didn't understand, you know, why I wasn't just getting the opportunity to play. I was playing great in practice. I was busting my teammates' ass in practice. You know what I'm saying? You can ask Kawhi, they'll tell you. I had no reason not to be playing. The way he was playing me and the Spurs he was playing me, I couldn't play my best basketball because I'm a rhythm guy.
Timing.
You know what I mean? And it didn't look good for a while.
Who were you playing behind at the time? That was a young Kawhi. You were back
Danny Green.
Yep,
and Ginobili.
So you're back in Oklahoma.
I'm playing behind all them.
Now, I remember you hit me on the bus. We was in New Orleans, and I seen you had just got released. I'm like, what the fuck? Right before the playoffs.
Yeah, you know, that shit was crazy, man. I remember coming out of practice. I had a great practice. You know how I practice. If I hit a 3 on somebody, bitch, you know what I'm saying? But it ain't personal. You know what I'm saying? Get your ass up. That's how I'm talking.
Right.
I'm probably the only person in Spurs history that practiced like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Mario Elliott or somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm the only one in Spurs history that practiced like that. Tim loved it. Tim Duncan loved it. He loved the way I played and all that. You know what I'm saying? It scared people at the time. We had a point guard on the team. His last name was DeColo. He loved me, you know what I mean? But I hit a shot on him for game 1 at practice. And I'm like, get up, bitch. And Pop, like, I saw it. He didn't say nothing, but I saw his face like, come on, Jack. Like, but this is how I play. I wasn't playing much, so my games was practices.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this is how I played. So I'm walking in the locker room. You know, I remember I'm having a great, I'm feeling good. You know, Tim coming there messing with me like, great practice, boy, And as I'm in the locker room, one of the trainers come like, Pop want to talk to you in the film room.
That's like getting called to the principal's office.
But I'm not feeling that. I'm thinking he finna tell me, great practice, I'm gonna play you, da-da-da-da, like, get your shit together, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
Right.
I go in there, as soon as I go in, I see his face, kill my whole mood. I want to just kick him in his fucking face. When I saw his face, I just wanted to kick the shit out of him because I know this is not gonna go how I expect it to. I sit down, he hit play on the film screen. He got all the highlights of me fucking up in the last 3 to 4 games. My worst possessions. Jack, you're not
this
playing
is where
with...
you said he was throwing you in and out and you didn't have no
Yeah,
rhythm.
yeah. He found my worst possessions of life He probably found him when I was 4 years old, the worst possessions ever, and played him on the tape for me. And was like, Jack, you haven't been playing well. I know you had a great practice today. I want to bring Danny Green and the Ginobili and the rest of these guys in, and I want you to admit that these guys are better than you because I'm going into the playoffs.
He brought them in the office?
No, he brought me in there and told me he was going to bring them in there for me to say that. This one thing about Pop, the smartest coach I've ever played for. He's calculated. Everything he does is calculated. I know this guy. I respect him too much. You know what I mean? I can never say nothing bad about him. He gave me my opportunity to win all that stuff. I love Pop. He was like a father to me those years I was in San Antonio. But he knew what my response was going to be before he asked me that question. So when he told me that he was going to bring the team in and wanted me to admit that Danny Green and Ginobili was better than me in front of the whole team to help their confidence going to the playoffs, I looked at him. I said, Pop, you know I ain't going to say that. You might as well give me the rest of my money. I'm getting the fuck up out of here. And I got up and walked out. Now listen, I got up and walked out. As I walked out, I see Tim on the table. He was like, Jack, what's going on? I'm like, man, don't even worry about it. I'll holler at you later. You know what I'm saying? As I walk out. So this is how I always say, I know how smart Pop is, and I know that everything he does is calculated. As I'm at home going to the house, I get a call from T-Mac. T-Mac flying in town, asking me, well, what's going on? He flying in. San Antonio flying him in. He coming in right now. So they had already was bringing T-Mac in. So he was trying to set up a way
for you
to let me down easy. So he wanted me to set myself up by saying that in front of the team.
To cut yourself.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And but like I said, Pop knew the relationship we had. He had so much love for me. He couldn't come to terms with just saying, Jack, I gotta release you. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the relationship we have, I don't think he wanted to do that. And that's why he put me in that position.
To cut yourself.
Because he knew I was going to cut myself. Fuck no, I ain't saying, I'm not to this day. Deontay Wilder, till this day, I ain't saying nobody better than me. You got to prove it. You know what I'm saying? And it ended bad. And they ended up losing to Miami. That's good for their ass. Because I would have got that rebound. You know what I'm saying? And the way I feel about Ray Allen, I would have made sure I locked his ass up. You know what I mean? So, but you know, shit happened for a reason. I don't even think they gave T-Mac a chance to see what he can do.
I remember that he was in and out briefly.
But it was fucked up, you know what I'm saying? Because and then he did that where I couldn't sign with another NBA team.
Oh yeah, no.
You know, right before the playoffs where I could. So he didn't want me to come back to hunt him, and I don't blame him because that's what was gonna happen. I was gonna come back and bust his ass, and he knew that. You know what I mean? But it was just fucked up how it happened, and I never played in the NBA after that.
It's a cold business because the business of the business behind the scenes is dirty. You know what I mean? And then it almost, without knowing the whole story, you know, Pop is what he is. You know, are going to be arguably one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coaches ever. So if you can't make it work with Pop, people really start thinking you're a problem. You know what I mean? So then, like you said, after that, you never play in the NBA again.
Yep, I've that little bullshit still with a couple weeks with the Clippers, and that was it. But anytime you get cut right before the playoffs, that looks bad to every team. You know what I'm saying? That looks bad to every team. And to be cut from the Spurs
that's
right before the playoffs, you know what I'm saying? And I think, Matt, that's what hurt me more than anything. The relationship me and Pop had, like, as smart as he is, this is ruining me, Pop. Like, regardless how you feel about me or what you're trying to do to win games, this is fucking up my career. You know what I mean? And I don't think he never thought about that. You know what I'm saying? But I heard somebody ask him about it, and he said he regret how he handled that. You know what I'm saying? Which I respect because, you know, I had a lot of game left. You know, I had to go punish the big three the next couple of years because you know, if Pop say you don't belong in the league, trust me, a lot of teams gonna be like, you don't belong in the league.
It's tough.